Okay, this is another look at my, full testimony. So when I was little, basically, my mom told me I was very smart. I would always finish my homework before anybody else, or very quickly. And and basically, when I, grew up, when we moved from Africa, you know, um, we moved quite a bit. We moved from Africa to the U.S. Uh, that's when I got kind of, pulled into the world, because before I would always be outside, play. But when we moved to Africa, I would stay indoors more and watch things like anime and porn basically. This was when I was like, anime got me into porn, which is why I stopped watching anime, and it's really satanic and things like that. And I always knew I was somebody, which is why when I wrote a terrible book, like because I knew I was somebody, but I wasn't sure what. So I thought I was just a god or something like that. So I wrote a book called Life, Vengeance, and Love: The Story of a God, and that book is terrible. Even my little brother says it's evil, but I wrote that book, and even in the book, I said an angel told me to not write it, and I wrote that book about myself. So basically, time passed, and I played tennis, and tennis required a lot of workout, and I would work out a lot. When I do something, which is why I really want to be in water. When I do something, I get so focused in it that I forget everything else. That's how I am. So that's kind of like the strength that God gave me. Focus when when I like something. So I would work out a lot, and my dad didn't like it. So he said one day that stop working out. So that kind of broke my heart, and because I really liked working out, he said it was gonna take away my membership. I went to tennis, I was crying, and I stopped. I stopped, working out that day. So later on, we would move that day to from Central, which was like the high school where I was very happy. I was very happy in high school, and because I was popular, girls liked me, things like that, and I was a funny guy. I knew when to say. I didn't talk much, but when I would talk, I would make people laugh. So that's another strength. So I know what to say. So basically, we moved to Grapevine, and that's where kind of my information path started. Really, really, got going. So my brother one day he said, "Oh, look up Tesla." So I looked up free energy, and that led me to pyramids, and that led me to all sorts of things. And at the end of that, that led me to the 13th sun. So I already described how the 13th sun, things like that. Uh, um, but basically, I learned so much things, and the main and I then I got into cocaine and things like that, and I even learned more bad things because these things weren't rooted. Their foundations, the foundation of those things that I learned were rooted in iniquity. They were rooted in evil. So so it had so it had to be like torn down basically, because it was bad. So next, but I was always searching for something. I was always searching for, for knowledge, for God. But really, I understand, or higher. Really, I understand. I was searching for understanding and higher. And basically, then I started traveling. I started, walking, and really being in nature, like, cause I knew, cause again, I'm the type of guy like once I focus on something, like I really get into it. So I really got into nature. I really got into once I finally left, that person who beat me up, and I understand why he did. He may have gone. He always described going through a lot of pain and things like that when we were together. So I forgive him for what he did, and and I understand why I had to go through that, because I had to understand how basically, like the root cause of evil. And so I actually figured out the root cause of evil, like, basically. And and I and I left it. So, but before that, I went to a mental hospital, drug, and they fed me drugs and things like that. And because there was something wrong with me, which was, what I was doing, which was the root cause of what I was doing, artificial, cocaine. But those drugs didn't fix me. It was like, it wasn't even a band-aid. It was like having a wound, a cut, and just rubbing it like twice and saying, "Oh, it's much better now." It's not better. So the wounds take time to heal, and in order for a wound to heal, you need to stop touching it. So basically, what happened was I kept touching the wound, which was through, doing cocaine. But finally, I stopped doing that. And the last time that I went to the mental hospital, I was able to get out without drugs, and what I used was water. And they said I was fine, and they said, like, because I had just made mistakes, and this is when my faith in Yahushua really increased. So I said, hey, I make mistakes. I made a mistake. So I asked for forgiveness for that mistake. And the reason I got into the mental hospital was, well, part of the reason why was because I was quiet. I was in nature. I was focused on nature. I was learning. I was sharing. And basically, my mom called the cops on me because I was outside too much, which is why I have to go to Hawaii, where I can be outside, and go to a place where I can be outside all the time, because I really don't like indoors. I'm like I I'm, I like being outside. That's why I have to be in water. I like being outside. I love it when it rains, and I'm an outdoor person, and I realize that outdoors you have all this energy, and like I said, the root cause, which is what I realize, of all evil is artificial. Is when you take something that God already created and you turn it to something else. You twist it. You turn to something else, like that's not right. So basically, that causes you to have that has an effect on you. So this got me into realizing that, I need to be outside. I need to feel the sun. I need to feel the wind. I need to feel the air, because uh, these things, God made these things for a reason, like, the wind and things like that. He made it to be experienced. So I went outside and I lived the real experience and things like that. And and but my mom didn't like that, so that's why I have to get out of here. And I had a clear mind, clear conscience, clear everything. So I've had ups and downs, so I've had, but I had to come back. I realized now I had to go in there because there were certain characters I had to meet. Like I met Mary Magdalene, like 100%. Like, I even knew she was Mary Magdalene before she even told me, and she thought I was God, but even I did. But nah, I'm not. Nah, I'm just a child. I told her I'm just a child, and I was almost close to what my name was. I said my name is Ian Carvin, which is but it's really Carmichael. So I was close. I was getting close to what my name really is. So, but I went in there because I had to realize I have to be like in some place near water, because I have to swim like without anything. That's what I have to do, because like I'm actually a really hard worker. Like, I'm not, like, the only reason why I even went off the path, why, of Babylon working, things like that, because I got distracted by cocaine. But I that distracted me for a reason, because it led me to nature, and it led me to God blessing me with other forms of income. So basically, the moral of the story is nature, because that's where you get life from. And that's really why humans, their lifespan really decreased. Why it decreased? Because they started building brick houses. They started building fences, things like that. It started blocking the flow of energy, for things like that. Staying indoors too much. You need to be outside. Feel the wind, feel the air, feel the things like that. And that's where you get a long good life from, because yeah. So it's just about that, you know. So it's about nature. It's about that's why I got called first to nature, but I was still kind of in the concrete jungle. And if you're in the concrete jungle and you're still in nature, you're still under Rome, you're still under Babylon, so they can still mess with you. So I want to be in a place where they can't mess with me anymore. So that's why you have to go to the wilderness. You have to go to a place where there's no concrete. It can't just be like, oh, a little park, things like that. It has to actually be a jungle or a wilderness or a place like that. Because if you try, and this is a warning, if you try to do like something's gonna like happen and they're gonna pick. Because while I was in there, true story, there was this guy in there who got picked up by the laws just because he was drinking beer. The loss picked him up and brought him to a mental hospital. So you had a lot of people in there that were brought in there for no reason. And then you had another guy who just because he was walking, he got brought to a mental hospital. So this is why say like saying so when you hear things like FEMA camps or things like that, like these things are real, but it's not like they can't do it like all the way like that if y'all protect, but if you don't hurry, like hey, you need to like hurry, there's time, there's like Daniel said, 2 years, so but it's time to get prepared, to get to the wilderness. So that's all, I know what perfection is. I know what the steps I need to take to be perfect, and that means being in nature and things like that. But have a pleasure seeing you. Have a fine day, and love varies infinitely in kind directions.